Good morning. We're going to get started. Can I have everyone's attention? Thank you very much. Good morning. Happy New Year. Thank you for coming today to this important announcement. Without further ado, I want to introduce Prince George's County Executive Rashern Baker. Thank you.
I feel like I'm so far away from everyone. How's everyone doing this morning? There's no snow, so it's great. I'm here to make an announcement. It's really trying to get my notes so I can actually not make up stuff. It is it's both a happy occasion and a sad occasion. I can't help but reflect what life was like almost 6 years ago when I came into office. At that time, there was a lot going on in the county, and part of it required that I make some changes. It's hard to build a government from scratch. So I had to make some very important decisions. One of the most important decisions, because one of the most important part of this job is public safety. And so finding the right person to lead our fire and EMS was a difficult choice for a person who really don't understand why people would run into burning buildings. But I wanted to find somebody who could carry on the tradition, Jim Estep, of Prince George's County's fire department, volunteer combination department. And so I met a gentleman who I didn't know, and who at the time I wasn't sure was the right person. But two people who I have a lot of confidence said that this person is who you should pick. One was the late Wayne Curry, and the other was Jim Estep. And so I got to know Marc Bashoor over these years. It was a very difficult time. I had seen what a fire department does to their own, and I was concerned. And I told him that, and I shared it with him when he came in. And so it's going to be very, very difficult for me to lose him. He is retiring. So before I, talk about him and call him up, let me just share a couple of things that I will remember most. During the very part of this administration, we went through a lot of natural disasters. And I remember at the very beginning of the administration, whether it was Snowmageddon or, these homicides that were happening, there was one particular Saturday where they promised me I'd get a chance to go to sleep. I felt like I'd been up for 6 months. And on this particular Saturday, they said, you're going to be able to go to sleep and just do this one event at this church and you can go home. So I'm up there at the podium like this. Somebody hands me a note and says, there's a fire in the southern part of the county. I look at the note and I put it away. I said, great. Then somebody comes up 5 minutes later and said, there's another fire in the central part of the county. I look at it and I say, I don't care, I'm getting some sleep. Then they come back up and there's a fire in the northern part of the county. I put it there, so I'm going home. They finally came back. There were 7 fires on one day in Prince George's County. It had not happened in 47 years, but it happened to me. But I was able to get some sleep because we had the right person at the helm. We had somebody who was in charge and had the confidence of the men and women who were working with him, who could assure the public at all times that we had their best interests, who over his tenure here as the leader of our fire department has built a lot of firehouses for us, has increased the personnel, has improved the working relation with our combination department, both our volunteer and our career, and has made my job tremendously easier. I'm going to miss him leading this department. I'm going to miss him as a friend. I'm not going to miss the fact that he keeps showing me the picture of where he's going. but I can't think of a finer person to have led us. You know, at the beginning of the administration, people who know me know I love John Kennedy's. So there was a quote when he was putting together his administration, and he was looking for men and women of courage, conviction, that would lead a mark. Those are the type of individuals I wanted to appoint to my administration. I can say that I did a good job in appointing a man who is leaving a great mark for Prince George's County, Marc Bashoor. Marc, come on up.
In December of 2010, I told County Executive Baker I hoped I'd be the last fire chief he had to deal with. Remember that? Sorry. It was a pretty lofty goal, considering that the average lifespan of a Prince George's County fire chief prior to that was 2.9 years. If you want to know why we were in positions we were in, that's why. So a little more than 6 years later, I'm here to tell you that I'm not going to meet that goal. But I want to tell you some goals we have met. In March of 2011, Mr. Baker was presented with his transition team report of goals and recommendations for all the agencies. And for the Fire EMS Department, there were 4 primary goals. Goal 1, deliver service effectively, efficiently through dedicated staffing on emergency apparatus. In the past 6 years, we've hired 420 sworn and civilian personnel, nearly half of today's authorized strength. An average of 300 volunteers have completed initial training every year. With those additions, we've strategically located career staffing to match response time needs and service gaps. We've dedicated staffing or replaced in service new 19 additional units. We've added advanced life support resources on 10 new units, reducing advanced life support response time by over 45 seconds. I think we met that goal. Goal 2, enhance citizen involvement, accountability, and transparency in the County Fire Commission. In 2012, we introduced the appropriate legislation to amend the county charter of the Fire Commission, bringing its membership ultimately to a makeup today that includes volunteer commissioners, career commissioners, and yes, citizen commissioners. We achieved that goal. Goal 3, modernize the fleet capability, standardize purchasing, and develop a comprehensive apparatus plan. In 2011, we introduced a comprehensive apparatus replacement plan that used existing Council of Governments regional contracts. After we socialized that plan a little bit with the county executive and the county council and our Office of Management and Budget, they needed to understand how that was going to work. We were granted over a $20 million commitment structured over 10 fiscal years. Now in year 5 of that program, we have replaced 44 ambulances at $250,000 apiece, 10 engines at $500,000 apiece, 4 ladder trucks at over $1 million apiece, and a rescue squad at over $800,000, along with dozens of support vehicles, and there's more on order. The plan has included the modernization that was recommended, including our first ever firefighter rehabilitation unit delivered last year. In the past, we depended on the dispatch of a Metro bus or the county the bus to provide heat or air conditioning on large, long-duration scenes. Our new rehab unit, which is on display out front here, will now provide a specifically designed base for rehabilitation services to our firefighters and paramedics, improving our health and welfare. In addition to these county-owned resources, out of our 37 volunteer corporations that are a large part of the PGFD, they've added 9 ambulances, 7 engines, 2 ladder trucks, and multiple support vehicles. We achieved that goal. Goal 4, promote high level of, and I'm paraphrasing the goals, promote a high level of continued education and professional development for volunteer, career, and civilian members. We have agreed in principle with the Fire Commission to modernize training requirements found in the county charter and to match career and volunteer requirements wherever unreasonable gaps exist. We conducted a civilian stand-down and held a full organizational all-day strategic development session to identify strengths and weaknesses. Partially as a result of that, we developed a new leadership academy named the Chief Jim Estep School of Leadership and Excellence. That program is an 18-month commitment. It began in 2015 with a strong cadre of volunteer, sworn, and civilian members. The program included a battlefield visit, which I went with them on, along with a concentration of moral, mental, and physical strengths. The second program is in the advertisement stage now. I want to recognize Chief Estep, who you just gave the applause for, our longest-serving fire chief at 14 years of service, Chief Estep. Also, I became the second longest serving chief at 6 years. I want to introduce the third longest serving chief, Chief Larry Sedgwick, at 5 years, right there. So we achieved that goal. And that was it. That's all he wanted me to do. And we did it. But there's more. We instituted a high school cadet program, starting right there in a temporary building right out there. Now in its 4th year at both Flowers High School and Gwynn Park High School, funded by both the department and the county schools. Dr. Maxwell, who couldn't be here this morning, has been a huge partner in keeping that program going, as of course has the support of the county executive and the county council to keep our funding where we need it to be. We are about to complete a $12 million replacement of our entire self-contained breathing apparatus infrastructure at all 45 of our stations, our apparatus maintenance shop, and our academy. That includes equipment that's carried on every piece of response apparatus. This is money that was appropriated by our county leadership. At no direct cost, we implemented our mobile integrated health program last year, the first in the National Capital Region. That will ultimately reduce stress on our 911 response system and improve response performance to those who really need us the most. At no cost, we implemented the Pulse Point program, also the first in the National Capital Region, which puts critical AED information into the hands of anyone close to a sudden cardiac arrest report. We broke ground on 2 new fire stations and the public safety pier just recently down at National Harbor. With grant money in excess of $3.5 million, we replaced every one of our advanced life support defibrillators. We had never been able to do that before in one opportunity. So whether it's the opening of the new Brandywine Station, implementation of our award-winning Adopt a Neighborhood program with partners like Glen Arden Baptist Church, and I appreciate Pastor Jenkins being here this morning. Thank you for your support. Establishment of our Fire and EMS Foundation, and if my foundation, if the Fire and EMS Foundation board members are here, if you could just stand real quick and be recognized, and our Community Advisory Council folks, stand and be recognized. Thank you. We formed those. They didn't exist. Whether it's that, whether it's improvements in the rural tier insurance ratings that we were able to achieve, we've accomplished a lot more than those 4 goals. And I believe that we accomplished a lot more than I believe any of us thought we could accomplish in 6 years. I appreciate the opportunities the county executive has supported for me, which include my international travel to Brazil and China with the National Fire Protection Association, the opportunities I've had to teach incident command for the Veterans Administration in Washington, D.C., Martinsburg, West Virginia, and yes, in Florida. I will not merely retire and fade away. I will continue to write for Firehouse Magazine and deliver training and leadership programs at various opportunities around the country. Additionally, I'm honored to have been recommended by the International Association of Fire Chiefs to the incoming administration for consideration of several possible federal appointments. While I'm neither optimistic nor pessimistic about those possibilities, it is extremely humbling to even be considered. This experience has been exciting, rewarding, and humbling. It is time. There is indeed a lake in Florida calling my name and my wife's name. I've been showing pictures to everybody that'll look. Mr. Baker, if you could just make it 75 degrees every day and maybe in 2 or 6 years find a way to eliminate the state retirement income tax, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have full confidence in my replacement's ability to continue moving the Marc forward. I am proud of our accomplishments and fully trust I'll be able to look back years from now and continue to be proud of the progress the men and women of the Prince George's County Fire EMS Department and Prince George's County will continue to make. Stay smart, stay safe, and please check a smoke alarm today. You might save a life tonight. Thank you.
Mark, I believe your wife's in the back. Can we give her a round of applause? Thank you. Thank you. Because the one thing that we all know is we don't do these jobs alone. Our family goes with us. And for these men and women to take time out of their families' time to come and serve the men and women of Prince George's County, I don't want that overlooked, and certainly the fine work that you have done. So the question for us is what's next, and who leads this great department that you have helped build and create. One of the things that we talked about when Chief Bashoor first came in was building a bench. I didn't want to ever have to go outside of Prince George's County to pick people to lead this great county, because we have a tremendous amount of smart men and women that work for us, that start out of our schools, in our classroom, and move up. And so what we talked about was building a cadre of folks we could choose from. One of the first, and I think best appointments that Chief Bashoor did was he brought me the name of a gentleman, once again I didn't know, and said, I think this is somebody who could take over should I decide to leave. And of course I immediately say, are you planning to go somewhere? You trying to tell me something? And he said, no, we have to be prepared. I think that's like a fire motto, always be prepared, or a Boy Scout. But I'm very pleased that over the last 6 years, he's had a gentleman by his side who has been working with him and moving this department forward. I know, because I talked to Chief Bashoor, that he has all the confidence in the world in this gentleman. So do I. That is why I'm pleased to announce that he will be the interim chief, and I look forward to submitting his name to the county council to become the next fire chief. And that is, Stawinski almost started shaking. He thought I was getting a new police chief. The next fire chief, Benjamin Barksdale. Ben, come on up.
Good morning, everyone. Well, today it's not about me. It's about Chief Marc Bashoor and his retirement and his illustrious career with the Prince George's County Fire and EMS Department. I want to personally congratulate you on your retirement and thank you for all that you've done to improve the quality of life here in Prince George's County. The goal of every leader is to leave an organization in better shape when they came in, when they leave. And Chief Bashoor has hit it out of the park. I also want to thank you for having the faith in me 6 years ago and recommending me to Mr. Baker and to bring me on as a deputy chief. It's been a pleasure to work for someone who really cares about the community that we serve. And over the 6 years, I've learned a lot. I've definitely grown as a leader. You've heard of the many accomplishments that Chief Bashoor has had here within the county. but not only here, but he has contributed to the profession and has made the profession better. So again, thank you. And we will continue with those successes and hopefully increase what you've started. And now as I, excuse me, step in the position of the acting fire chief soon, I want to thank Mr. Baker, Chief of Staff, Ms. Glenda Wilson, and our Public Safety Director, Marc for having the confidence in me to fill the enormous shoes, but also the gargantuan helmet that Chief Bashoor is leaving behind. I do not take this privilege lightly, and I'm very grateful that you are offering me the opportunity to become a fire chief. My wife and I live here in Prince George's County. We chose to live here. We've lived here for 27 years, and we've raised our daughter here. And we can't think of a better place to be than the Prince George's County. And I think it would be an awesome blessing as a resident to have the prospect of becoming the fire chief here in the community that I'm fully vested in and want to continue to see that the quality of life improved here in the county. So as I seek the confirmation from County Council, I hope I'm able to convey to them my commitment, confidence, and courage to officially lead this great organization known as the Prince George's County Fire and EMS Department. And finally, Mr. Baker, under Chief Bashoor, we have accomplished many of the goals that you established for us when you first came into office. And we will continue to strengthen those goals that has been established and to meet the challenges or opportunities that you have for us. So, thank you.
As we close out, I just want to once again, I joked in the corner, I said that I was telling Chief Bashoor that when George Washington left office after 2 terms and John Adams was coming in during the inauguration, John Adams said to his wife Abigail, he said, George Washington looks happier leaving than I do coming in. This man looks happy. I don't know what it says about you, Ben. But one last time, can we give Chief Bashoor a round of applause and thank him for his many years of service. You have left it better. Thank you.